welcome to part 2 of my 2022 Corvette. I got about half of it done so far. I'll just go over a couple things that I painted here, and then I'll show you what I recorded that I paint. But this is the Corvette here. I got the headlights and the grills in. I got the rear bumper done. This is the rear bumper. I just have the roof sitting on there. Nothing's glued down yet for that. So the taillights are just pushed into place. They're not glued in. But instead of going with the black for the grille and the bumper down here, I went with the chrome for the 1960 look. Same thing with the front here. But anyway, I'll show you the quick little paint session, and then come back to this. just gonna show you what I'm doing with the windows here. A little interruption here, but so there is no masking tape. There's no like guides to tape the windows to paint the black around them. So what I did is I took some tape, just put it across the window, and then I outlined where I wanted with a pencil, and then I did it with Sharpie so I can see it easier. So that way I'll have the cover for the window, and then I can paint the outside. So I did it for the back window cover. This mid rear window here is already done, and then my windshield. Obviously I kind of messed up cutting a little bit, but so you see the yellow tape on top of the green. You see my little outline there. But that's all I did to make my own template for painting these windows. So that's all I did. It's very simple. I could probably do it for any car now. But yeah, that way I can just paint these and not worry about hand painting it or whatever else. Just makes it easier. Alright, back to the painting. Okay, so anyway, as you've seen, I just painted this gold, and then I painted the white here, and then I painted these parts black and then AK chrome. And so I did for the sides and all these pieces, the headlights, tail lights. So it's looking pretty good. I was debating on whether or not to paint the windshield chrome like the 1960 version or just leave it gold, but I'm just gonna leave it gold. The roof is just sitting on there, so it can come off. This piece is just sitting on there as well. Honestly, I could just glue it down because I really don't know why it's separate from this, but it is. So there is those pieces, and then underneath I painted it semi-gloss black. So that's all set and done in there. So that's the body of the car. It's looking very nice. For the windows, as you can see, I painted it flat black and it still looks glossy. See, flat black. I know some people like watching this part, so obviously if there's some parts that I have to fix, I can just hand paint. But that is the windshield and the other two windows. So obviously I have a couple of spots that I have to fix. I'll just hand paint the flat black on the back side and just fix it up. I'll just hand paint it instead of taping it back up and repainting, because it's honestly a pain. But I just made my own cutouts and did it that way. And there's the windows. The underneath, I did not show painting these because it's nothing special. It's just flat white for the interior. Everything's flat black and silver, and then I just painted the covers here red. That was the only thing. And I painted the calipers gloss red. But everything else is just flat black and aluminum. That's all going to get hidden once I put this together, and you'll never see it again, so it doesn't really matter. But the engine is nice. I mean, it is detailed for what it is. I painted up just a little bit just to show you what it looked like. This is underneath. So, I mean, underneath painted all right. The interior I flocked. I just took a brush and painted on Mod Podge with no water. I just used straight Mod Podge and a brush, and I just painted it, brushed it on there. I keep saying paint, but I just brushed it on there with a brush that I didn't care about. And then I poured some white flocking on there, so that's on there. For the interior, painted this part black. But as for the seats and everything else, that'll sit in there like that. Paint them flat white and gold, and I used Old Gold by AK. I just hand painted it on there. I painted both seats with it. So those are the seats that'll be in there. And then the center console. This is a left and right drive, and I'm using this one, so I painted that gold. I gotta do the black for the buttons and everything else still, but I got the gold on there. And for the dash, I got it white with some gold accents. Black for the grill or vent that's up here. I didn't do anything else with the other vents up here, but I got a little bit of gold here and some black. And then this is the top of the dash, and this is supposed to go, I don't know if I can line it up right, like that. So that'll be on there like that. And that's the interior. Here. I still have the other dash over here for the regular dash on the top. Nothing's done to it. License plates here. This is part of the interior. This is gonna go on the back right here. I just haven't done it yet, but that'll go here. I believe it goes on there like that. So that'll be in there. I think there's a decal that goes on it as well. I have not put any decals on this kit yet. I do have the tires and wheels put together. I painted these with the AK chrome as well. They look very nice. 2 different sizes. So those will be on there. And honestly, I could probably push one of them on now. I won't push it all the way on, but I don't know if I have the right side on. That's why I'm not doing it all the way. Those will be on there like that. And then this will sit in there like that. Yeah, I mean, silly, but you get the idea. That's what it'll look like with the white and gold interior. And then the only thing I have left to do, this is where the bottom of the windshield and wipers will go. I just need to spray this gloss kind of silk matte, and then that'll be done. And everything else is painted. It just needs to be detailed and decaled. This is the top of the engine. There's decals for this, or the sides and the V, and this will just sit on top of the engine like that. That needs to get done. A couple license plates. I still have the rear spoiler just sitting here like this. Let's paint it up gold as I drop it. And then the front bottom I don't know what you call this, spoiler. The mirrors are chrome. I gotta put those together. I gotta put the little reflective pieces in there. And then I have, which those are just be in there like that. And then I have the exhaust tips here. And that's really it. That's all I have done to this car. On a side note, I am making a 72 Oldsmobile at the same time. And this is how far I got with that. White interior as well. But if you want to check that out, it will be a separate video for part 1s and 2s and 3s and however far I get on that one. But as for this Corvette, this is as far as I've gotten with painting and putting it together. Oh, I almost forgot the steering wheel. This is the steering wheel. I gotta do blacks for the little buttons here and here, and then that'll be done. I use the same gold. It's just gonna be white like that. Like I said, I still have to do decals and everything else on the car. But other than that, thank you for watching and checking this out, and I will see you on part 3. Thanks.